All right, everybody, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into the world of AI, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride. We're talking rogue employees, tech bubbles that could make the dot-com crash look like a blip, and even, believe it or not, robot food delivery.
That's right. We're going to unpack some really interesting news stories today, stories that highlight just how unpredictable this whole AI thing can be.
Unpredictable is an understatement from what I've seen. So let's start with this ByteDance Intern situation. This is straight out of a movie. Disgruntled employee, a secret mission to sabotage, and millions of dollars just poof, gone.
Yeah, it's a fascinating case. Really exposes some vulnerabilities in AI development. Basically, you have this ByteDance intern who was allegedly able to disrupt the training process for their AI model.
Okay, hold on. Back up a second. For those of us who don't speak fluent AI, what does that even mean? To disrupt AI model training, how do you even do that?
Right, so imagine AI model training, like baking a cake, a really complex cake with like layers and frosting and all that. It takes specific ingredients, perfect timing, whole process to get it right. Now imagine someone subtly messing with the oven temperature, or swapping out the sugar for salt. The cake might look fine at first, but one bite and you know something's wrong.
So this intern messed with the recipe for ByteDance's AI, and that's what cost them millions. But how is that even possible? Don't these tech giants have, like, ironclad security?
You'd think, right. And that's what's so unsettling about this. We don't know exactly how the intern did it, but it exposes a huge vulnerability, which is insider threats. This wasn't some hacker in a basement. This was their own employee, someone with access and knowledge.
That is a scary thought. But what was the intern even trying to do? Like, were they trying to get rich, bring the company down, or did they just really want a promotion?
Well, here's the kicker. The intern's alleged motive was surprisingly, well, let's just say relatable. Apparently, they were frustrated because resources were being diverted away from their own personal research project. They wanted more computing power.
Wait, hold on. Are you serious? They potentially cost the company millions because they wanted a faster computer. That's like, I don't know, burning down a restaurant because they wouldn't give you the recipe for the soup? What kind of damage are we even talking about here?
So it's been reported that this whole thing could cost ByteDance tens of millions of dollars. But, to be fair, ByteDance has disputed that figure, said it's exaggerated. They claim the incident didn't impact any of their major projects.
Okay, so somebody's not being totally honest here, but still, if even a relatively minor act like this could potentially cost millions, what does that say about the stability of the entire AI industry? I mean, is it really as secure and profitable as everyone seems to think, or are we headed for a reality check?
That is the million-dollar question, and it leads us perfectly into our next topic. The AI bubble. Yeah, it's not just about one disgruntled employee, right? It's zoom out a bit, and you see this whole AI industry built on, well, maybe not sand, but definitely some shaky ground. Lots of talk about an AI bubble these days. And this isn't like, blowing bubbles in the park.
Yeah, more like the hold on to your hats, this market's going to crash kind of bubble. Makes you think twice about investing in those AI-powered pet rock translators, right? So is this all just hype, or is there something real behind all this AI craze?
Well, it's not a simple yes or no. A couple of finance guys, Jeffrey Funk and Gary Smith, are saying, hold your horses, this whole AI thing is unsustainable. One of their big points is it's way too easy to just slap an AI label on your company these days. Like, just because you use a computer doesn't make you a tech genius.
Right, like claiming your homemade lemonade stand is the next billion-dollar beverage company. Just because you add sugar and water doesn't mean you're, like, revolutionizing the drinks industry. So what else has these finance guys worried?
They're also looking at the crazy high valuations of some of these AI companies. I mean, we're talking numbers that would make your head spin.
Yeah.
And their point is the revenue generated by AI, sure, it's growing, but it's nowhere near the level that the early internet companies were pulling in. Back then, it was like printing money. And even then, the bubble burst.
Okay, so we've got potentially exaggerated importance and a disconnect between, like, real value and hype. Starting to see the warning signs here, but didn't the dot-com bubble have its upsides? Sure, a lot of companies went belly up, but it also gave us giants like Amazon and Google.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. When the dot-com bubble popped, the internet didn't just disappear, did it? It actually became even more ingrained in our lives. Same idea here. Maybe the AI industry is due for a correction, but it's not necessarily the end of the world.
So it's not a matter of if, but when, and how bad this AI bubble bursts. And maybe more importantly, who's going to be left standing when the dust settles? Who are the future Amazons and Googles of the AI world?
Million-dollar question, right? If we had that answer, we'd be sipping Mai Tais on a beach somewhere. But one key difference this time around might be the focus. Instead of all these flashy AI apps for everyday folks, the real growth might be in the stuff happening behind the scenes. The AI tools for businesses and industries.
So less about AI writing you a poem and more about AI making sure your package arrives on time. Practical magic, not just parlor tricks.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole ByteDance thing even more interesting, right?
Yeah.
If a company with their resources, their security, can be tripped up by something like this, what does that say about everyone else? Could one rogue employee, a few lines of bad code, really tank an entire AI company?
That's got to be keeping some investors up at night. Speaking of ByteDance, we haven't really talked about how exactly the intern's actions messed with their AI training. It's not like they just unplug the computer, right?
Yeah.
What's the real damage here? Okay, paint me a picture here. Let's say I'm this ByteDance intern, right? And I am seriously annoyed because my pet project is starved for processing power. What am I actually doing to mess with their AI training? We're talking like changing ones to zeros in the code. What's the deal?
Oh, it's probably way more subtle than just unplugging a server. AI training, see, it's all about crunching massive amounts of data, running it through these incredibly complex algorithms, and that takes a ton of power. Specialized hardware running nonstop. It's like a Formula One car, right? Everything's got to be perfectly calibrated for optimal performance. Even a tiny tweak to the engine or fuel can have a huge ripple effect, slowing it down, throwing it off course.
So this intern, they're basically throwing a wrench into this finely tuned AI engine. But what exactly are they tweaking to cause this chaos? I'm still lost on the how.
The specifics are still under wraps, but we can make some educated guesses. They could have messed with the training data itself, introducing tiny errors, biases that would snowball as the model develops. Or maybe they tinkered with the algorithms, introducing inefficiencies that would require massive amounts of retraining to fix. Think of it like a recipe. You swap out a teaspoon of salt for a teaspoon of sugar, and boom, the whole dish is ruined.
Wild, right? These tiny changes causing these massive headaches. It's like that butterfly effect thing. But instead of weather patterns, it's potentially world-changing AI getting completely derailed.
Exactly, and it highlights a huge challenge in AI development. Debugging and quality control. When you're dealing with systems this complex, finding the source of an error is like finding a needle in a haystack, especially if someone's intentionally trying to hide their tracks.
Talk about a debugging nightmare. Okay, so we've covered the dark side of AI, the potential pitfalls, but let's not forget about the folks trying to use this tech for good. Speaking of, we can't talk about AI without mentioning Elon Musk, right? What's the latest with him and XAI?
Right on cue. Elon Musk and AI, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. His latest venture, XAI, has been making waves with this new API they just launched, powered by their Grok Beta AI model. And this isn't just another tech launch, it's a direct shot at the big players like OpenAI.
Okay, hold on, level with me for a second. What is an API, and why should I care about Elon's new toy? Is it like a new social media platform or something?
Think of an API, or application programming interface, as like a universal translator for software. It lets different programs talk to each other, share data, even if they were built by different companies or speak different programming languages. In the AI world, an API is like a key that unlocks the power of a specific AI model for developers.
So instead of building an AI from scratch, developers can use XAI's API to add specific features to their own apps, like ordering takeout instead of cooking a 5-course meal from scratch.
Bingo. That's why this whole Grok Beta API launch is such a big deal. It gives developers easy access to a potentially really powerful AI model, which could lead to a wave of new apps and innovations. We're talking a potential game changer.
But come on, it's Elon. It's got to be more than just copying what's already out there, right? What's the X factor here?
One of the big things XAI is pushing is Grok Beta's ability to do what's called function calling. Basically, it means the model can not only generate text, but can also understand and execute instructions. Think, instead of just asking an AI to, write you a poem, you can ask it to write a poem, translate it into Spanish, and then compose a melody for it all in one go.
Wow, okay, that's impressive. From chatbot to digital Mozart in just a few clicks. And there's always a but with this new tech. What are the downsides here? What could possibly go wrong?
Right, because with great power comes great responsibility, as they say. One concern is always misuse. A more capable AI means more potential for deepfakes, harmful content, even stuff like phishing scams, but on a whole other level.
So it's not just can we build it, it's should we. And if we do, how do we keep it from going all Terminator on us? It's that same question that keeps coming up, whether it's rogue interns or Elon Musk's big AI dreams.
You hit the nail on the head. And it's a question we all need to keep asking as AI becomes more and more a part of our lives. Because the future of AI, it's not just about tech, it's about the choices we make, the safeguards we put in place, and what kind of world we want to create with these powerful tools.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up today's deep dive. We've gone from AI sabotage to Elon Musk's latest project, with a little bubble talk and ethical dilemmas sprinkled in. Phew, it's been a wild ride.
It seems like every time we peek behind the curtain of AI, we find even more complexity, more potential, and more reasons to think twice about what we're creating.
Absolutely. So, to all you listeners out there, we leave you with this. What role do you want AI to play in your life? What excites you, what worries you, and what questions are we not asking but should be? Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions, and keep diving deep.